Good day, it's Wednesday 6 p.m. here in Korea. Thank you for joining us. I'm Daniel Choy here with the latest. As we have done throughout this 5-day Chuseok holiday, we begin with an update on the traffic conditions. On this last day of the extended holiday period, the highways are looking a bit kinder to drivers compared to the previous couple of days. The average drive time to Seoul from Busan is currently at about 4 hours and 40 minutes. From Daegu, it's at 3 hours and 50 minutes, and from Ulsan, around 4 hours and 50 minutes. The trek from Gwangju to the nation's capital currently takes about 3 hours 40 minutes. From Daejeon, it's 2 hours, and from Gangneung, it's 2.5 hours. The Korea Expressway Corporation said nearly 40 million Koreans were expected to travel by car, train, or plane over this year's Chuseok holiday, a more than 13% increase from last year. The holiday season should be a time of happiness, but their end can signal the beginning of the post-holiday blues. Myeongjol, or holidays packed with various elements of custom and tradition, typically hits women the hardest. Our Kwon tells us more about the problems that arise and how experts suggest they be addressed.
5 days off thanks to Chuseok and the extended holiday. But for some, that's not necessarily good news because it actually means additional work and stress. Post-holiday syndrome, a temporary physical and mental condition, affects plenty of women in Korea after the Lunar New Year and Chuseok holidays. In particular, daughters-in-law suffer from preparing large amounts of traditional ritual food. Women complain of migraines, backache, muscle pain, nausea, loss of appetite, digestive disorders, and many more ailments. Carpal tunnel syndrome, a painful nerve condition that affects the wrist, is another common complaint. According to the Insurance Review and Assessment Service, 78% of carpal tunnel syndrome patients in 2013 were women. Doctors say making the same food with the same repetitive motions should be avoided, and taking a break every now and again is recommended. Stress is another part of the syndrome. There's an unending list of chores to complete, and the misery is often compounded by nagging mothers-in-law and family members' nonchalant attitude. Psychologists say acknowledging the woman's efforts, splitting up the work, and thanking them helps a lot.
Giving gifts or a vacation to the wife would be a way to thank them, but the best solution is for the husband to tell them that they know how much stress their wife is coping with and to show them repetitively that they are sorry and thankful by words and actions.
It's not only women suffering from the holiday syndrome. Men complain of physical pain due to hours of driving at a snail pace on the highways, as well as the stress of being the mediator between their wives and mothers. Children can feel it too, from eating too much high-calorie food to not getting enough sleep. This means mutual understanding among family members is a must to enjoy the real purpose of family gatherings like Chuseok. Kwon, ARIRANG News.
Very informative, and the anticipation is building over whether the Korean economy will make a turnaround after the end of this Chuseok holiday. Already there are some positive signs emerging. Our Hwang Ji-hye has the details.
From apples to beef, a variety of Chuseok gifts have filled the display stand here at a local department store located in the heart of the capital, Seoul. Consumers consider what to buy for their friends and families.
I'm looking around to buy presents at around the $100 level for my parents and friends. There are all sorts of products, so I'm wondering what to buy.
The nation's biggest holiday period is a high season for local retailers. Pre-sales of Chuseok gifts at major supermarkets soared by up to 70%. And the story's not that different for department stores. Numbers there shot up around 40%. While pre-sales take up a mere 10% of total sales of Chuseok gifts, local retailers are expecting some positive figures for the entire holiday period as well.
The number of consumers who are visiting our store is increasing thanks to Chuseok. Grocery sales are expected to rise into the double digits during the holiday season compared to last year.
As the Korean economy has been facing sluggish domestic demand after the Seoul ferry disaster in April, expectations are running high that the holiday period could mark the start of a pickup in the economy. 황지혜, 아리랑 뉴스.
There's reasons to be cautiously optimistic about Korea's youth employment rate, which has been inching up little by little over the past 11 months. According to Statistics Korea, just over 4 million Koreans between the ages of 15 and 29 were collecting paychecks as of this Wednesday. That's up 2.7% on year, and the youth employment rate in July stood at 42.2%, which is the highest level since the IMF crisis back in 2008. While those numbers breed optimism, there is reason to be reserved since the jumps coincide with summer break when many students opt to take part in part-time jobs. Those that stay on may not be entirely satisfied either. A new survey conducted by Statistics Korea shows that more than 27% of college graduates who found work said they were stuck in a dead-end job, while more than 47% said they quit their first job because of unfavorable working conditions and low pay. The wait is over for tech heads who had been waiting on pins and needles for a glimpse at Apple's latest gadgets. The company has pulled the curtain back on the first iPhone 6 and its first smartwatch, but will they live up to the hype that's been building over the past year? Our Kim Ji-yeon helps you decide.
Apple unveiled its much-anticipated newest models in California on Tuesday. The iPhone 6 comes with a bigger screen than its predecessors at 4.7 inches, while the iPhone 6 Plus has an even larger screen of 5.5 inches. In terms of pricing, the iPhone 6 will start at just under $200, and the iPhone 6 Plus starts at around $300. Both models are scheduled to launch on September 19th, and pre-orders will begin later this week in Apple stores across the U.S. Apple also unveiled the company's first new product line since the iPad, the Apple Watch, which will be available early next year. Equipped with fitness and health apps, the Apple Watch is trying to appeal to the mainstream consumer and perhaps those with fashion in mind. It will be available with 6 interchangeable bands in stainless steel, aluminum, or 18-karat gold.
Technical products have always been defined and championed by geeks, by technophiles, people who look like Bill Gates or Mark Zuckerberg. This is something completely different. This is technical combined with luxury. We've never seen technical products made with fine leather, with gold. This is something new. It's a new category of product, and I think it's going to be tremendous. I think it's going to bring in a whole new type of customer.
The watch will also be compatible with Apple Pay, Apple's new mobile payment service, which will allow users to make purchases on their Apple products. Kim Ji-yeon, ARIRANG News.
South Korea and the United States are a united front when it comes to North Korea. That was reaffirmed during talks in Washington on Tuesday, with both sides calling on the North Korean regime to clean up its act if it's serious about re-engaging with the international community. Our Shin Se-min reports.
During talks in Washington on Tuesday, South Korea and the United States delivered their regular message to the North Korean regime, urging it to end its nuclear program and work toward improving inter-Korean ties. Hwang Jung-guk, Seoul's top nuclear envoy, said he and Glenn Davies, the special U.S. representative for North Korea policy, saw eye to eye on all the matters at hand.
Our talks involve the necessity of bringing practical changes to denuclearizing the North, and that various measures be taken and be consulted over to fulfill such a need.
Regarding the recent diplomatic push out of Pyongyang, which has in recent weeks dispatched key officials overseas, Hwang said those efforts would be in vain so long as the North continues down its path of nuclear development. He emphasized that the only path out of isolation begins with denuclearization, adding that North Korea's request that the six-party talks resume without preconditions was unacceptable. The high-level talks in Washington also touched on humanitarian issues, including the 3 Americans currently being held in the North and the resumption of reunions for families separated by the Korean War.
We urge North Korea to take positive steps regarding releasing the American detainees in the North, as well as the reunions of the separated Korean families.
Before leaving for the 3 days of talks, Hwang said they were aimed at reassessing the situation on the Korean peninsula amid the recent changes in circumstances. Shin Se-min, ARIRANG News.
U.S. President Barack Obama is scheduled to give a televised speech on Wednesday night, outlining his strategy for the fight against Islamic State militants in Iraq and Syria. Obama is expected to announce that airstrikes, which have so far been limited to Iraq, will be expanded to include Syria. Obama will also ask lawmakers to quickly approve the arming of Syrian opposition forces. If the request is made, it would come 1 year after lawmakers blocked a separate request to launch missile strikes in Syria. Meanwhile, U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is currently in Iraq to build support for U.S. action against the IS militant group. The death toll in Kashmir's heaviest rain in half a century continues to rise. Local officials in India and Pakistan say more than 400 people have now died over the past week in monsoon flooding, while tens of thousands of others have been forced out of their homes. Rescue efforts continue for the hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are still stranded atop roofs in the region. The rain has stopped as of now, but authorities warn that more villages may be submerged in the days to come as the floodwaters shift. Those same authorities are on the receiving end of anger from the public, who say they weren't warned that flash floods were coming. Moving on to sporting realm, three-time Olympic gold medalist Kim Jong-ho has won another shooting title, this time at the 2014 International Shooting Sports Federation World Championship in Spain. The South Korean sniper didn't just come out on top in the 50-meter pistol event. He set a new world record with a combined 583 points. That gives Jin the distinction of having 2 world records now. His first came in the 10-meter pistol competition in 2009 with 594 points. It was a dramatic come-from-behind effort, with Jin finally overtaking China's Pang Wei in his 16th shot. Jin is scheduled to return home on September 14th, 6 days before the 17th Asian Games open in Incheon, where the 34-year-old will compete in the 50-meter pistol event. Dress warm, as there's a 10-degree difference in the daytime highs and nighttime lows in most parts of Korea. Expect similar conditions on Thursday weather-wise, signs that autumn is finally at our doorsteps. And now let's check out the weather conditions outside of Korea around the world. And these are the stories we're following at this hour. For more, do join us again at 10 p.m. Korea time. Thank you and good night.